What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react to this video all about the freedoms that people in England have that we don't have here in the United States. So, this just sounded like a very interesting video to me because most Americans really think that the United States is the most free country in the world. So, I want to take a look at this video by The World to Explore and learn about how maybe we're not as free as we thought here in the United States. So let's take a look.
Number 10. Jaywalking legal. In the U.S., jaywalking can mean fines or warnings from police, even when the street is empty. Cities like New York or Los Angeles commonly enforce these rules.
What?
In Great Britain, no law bans crossing outside the lines. In London or Cardiff, locals size up traffic and cross where it feels safe.
What? Huh? This is not what I was expecting. I had no idea that this was a difference between England and the United States. You can just cross the street wherever you want in England? Is that true? Is that the law? Whereas here in the United States, especially in cities, you have to cross at the designated crosswalks that are painted on the ground. It's actually a crime to just cross the street. That's called jaywalking. And it's for safety. I'm actually kind of surprised that that isn't a thing in England, in your cities, because it's really all about safety, but I don't know. Are you guys just expected to really pay attention and sort of watch out for yourself and be responsible about crossing the street? Maybe when I think about it, maybe it's just that Americans can't be trusted to actually pay attention and cross the street. We really need the like designated crosswalks and stoplights and stuff. Maybe.
In central London, it is common to see people head straight over multi-lane roads without waiting for signals.
What?
For Americans used to strict enforcement and clear crosswalks, this feels unfamiliar. Maybe you've noticed this yourself. Can you remember the last time you saw someone get stopped for jaywalking? Number 9.
That is unfamiliar to me. And yeah, technically, that is a freedom in England that you guys have to just, like, at your own discretion, walk where you want to go and cross the roads. And where I've never really thought about that, but we are kind of constrained here in the US in that way. Yeah, we just don't even really question it.
9. Double holiday days. Taking long vacations is rare for most Americans. Only about 23% of private industry workers get 15 or more paid days each year, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Yeah.
And few use those days all at once. Most workplaces expect employees to stay reachable and avoid long absences.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Here in the United States, like, you barely get any time off every year. We get a couple of holidays. You only have a limited number of days you're allowed to be sick. And for a lot of jobs, they expect you to be like accessible almost all day. Like even when you're not at work, people are emailing you or God forbid trying to call you about work. Oh my. In America, we definitely are very, very like work focused. It's not very healthy when I think about it.
By contrast, British law guarantees full-time workers at least 28 paid days off each year.
28 days? 4 weeks? Does that include like national holidays? Like Christmas? Or is that 4 weeks of vacation you get to decide? I have literally never heard of any American having anything close to that.
and it's normal to take 2 weeks together. During August in Birmingham,
And that's another thing. When you take time off in America, maybe you have like 10 days a year you can take off. It's really frowned upon to do it all close together. They want you to take like 2 days off at a time, or else they get kind of mad at you at work.
for example, businesses often empty as people travel. Using the full allowance is standard practice, and colleagues often encourage it. In the US, vacation time is usually saved for emergencies or short breaks. But in Great Britain, it's seen as a key part of well-being.
You know, I think a lot of us Americans don't realize how unhealthy and constraining our work is and our American work culture. But when I hear about how you do it in like England, for example, it's so eye-opening. We could do it like this. We could be happier. We just don't ever even think about it, though.
Number 8, school choice wider. In America, a child's assigned public school depends closely on home address,
Yes.
set by strict district lines.
Yes.
Even if a better school is nearby, families usually cannot enroll without moving.
That's pretty much true. Where you live dictates the school that you're going to go to. I thought that was pretty much standard. There's a lot of things I thought were normal that I'm figuring out are just American only.
Britain links address and school, but allows wider flexibility. In places like Greater Manchester, parents rank school preferences on applications. If a preferred school has space, children may attend, with
What?
priority for local families. If schools are full, councils
Oh.
must offer a place somewhere. In cities like Bristol, parents compare schools and apply based on their child's needs.
It's kind of like applying to college. You guys get to apply to like public school, like elementary school. Like you have a little kid and you're applying to different. Are the schools that different that you? Well, here in the United States, like schools for little children are ranked, so people always want to move and live in the best school zones. Whereas it's cool in England, you can just apply. You don't have to actually move there. You can just be close, which is amazing. That'd be so nice.
Not just geography. The process feels less rigid, and Americans facing strict school borders often find this approach more balanced. Number 7,
This is amazing. Like, it just feels like, based on these so far, England is more flexible about so many things. You're so much more open, or like the video says, free. You guys have more freedoms to choose different things.
doctor visits simple. Medical care in the U.S. usually starts with paperwork and anticipating bills. The Kaiser Family Foundation notes
Yeah.
the average uninsured office visit is $104,
Yeah.
and costs rise after tests or prescriptions.
I know in the United States, our healthcare system is weird. A lot of Americans don't know how weird. I'm becoming more aware that around the world, it sounds like, including England, you guys do healthcare very differently. In America, if you're just visiting your doctor, yeah, you might pay $100 or something if you're lucky.
Even insured patients pay co-pays and may get more bills later. In Great Britain, patients book NHS appointments with no upfront payment and no insurance card. At clinics in Glasgow or Liverpool, families turn up for visits or checkups and leave without pulling out a wallet. The NHS covers most routine care. Prescription costs are standardized.
You guys, I think you pay for it with like your taxes. I think it's taxpayer funded, which I would love. I would love for my taxes to pay for my health care. That would be such a relief for so many Americans, but I don't think it's going to happen. There's a lot of people in America who, especially pharmaceutical companies and healthcare companies and hospitals, they all make so much money off of us and the current system. It's really sad, actually, and it's not talked about nearly enough.
Currently $9.65 per item. Private insurance is optional, not needed for basic health needs. The lack of cost at the door often surprises American visitors,
Yeah.
and many feel a sense of relief at the difference. Number 6.
Yeah, I mean, when I go to the doctor, I expect to pay. If if you go to the emergency room or the hospital, they're gonna mail you a bill later, and it's probably thousands, even with healthcare coverage. And that's just a part of being American. That's just a stress everyone has to live with, and it's horrible.
Drinking age split. Americans cannot legally drink alcohol until 21, even though they can vote or serve in the military at 18. In
Yeah.
Great Britain, adults buy alcohol at 18 or older in pubs or shops.
This is a good one. This really is a freedom that we don't have in America. The freedom to drink when we're 18. For some reason, you are considered an adult in every way in America when you're 18, except alcohol. You can join the military, you can learn to use guns, you can kill people, you can go to war, you can vote, but you can't drink. This is probably one of the best examples of how England is more free than America. Something as simple as this.
In family pubs, even 16 or 17-year-olds may have beer or wine with a meal if an adult is present. Pub gardens and events throughout Britain include people 18 and up drinking responsibility with friends.
And I like the idea of drinking a little younger because it gets you introduced to it. It promotes a healthy relationship with drinking. Whereas in America, a lot of Americans just end up breaking the law and drinking alcohol before we're 21. And you have to commit a crime to do that. It's really, really stupid, actually, the more I think about it.
For Americans, this early trust in adulthood often stands out. Number 5, eggs not chilled. U.S. supermarkets keep eggs refrigerated, and labels warn customers to do the same. The FDA requires washing eggs, which removes a natural layer and increases risk of contamination if left at room temperature. In Great Britain, eggs remain unwashed by law, so the protective layer stays on. Supermarkets display.
First of all, your eggs are like brown, not white, because you don't wash them? Sounds like a more natural approach. It's probably, I mean, I can't fault this. It's weird to me, but it's probably just healthier and more natural. And you don't have to refrigerate the eggs when you do it like this. It's strange just because I'm not used to it, but it sounds like a better way, honestly.
Eggs unrefrigerated, often beside dry goods. In a Glasgow market or a small Isle of Wight shop, egg cartons sit on open shelves. People take them home and keep them out of the fridge without concern. This is a result of different food safety regulations, not tradition.
Yeah, our food regulations are crazy in America. That's another good example of how we're not as free as we think. We're using the term free kind of loosely here, but we don't have the freedom to be healthy. You could argue. You could argue we don't have the freedom to be as healthy as we want because we don't even have access to these kinds of eggs or healthier food options or unprocessed foods. And this, maybe I'm thinking too deeply into the eggs here, but I think this is actually a really good point.
And what seems odd to Americans is routine in the UK. Number 4, unified transit cards. U.S. cities usually have local smart cards, like New York's MetroCard or Chicago's Ventra, which do not work elsewhere. Travelers may carry several cards or need exact change in unfamiliar systems. In Great Britain, smart cards like London's Oyster, Liverpool's Walrus, and Scotland's Saltire function on trains, buses, and even ferries.
I see. This has to do with public transportation, which we simply just don't use here in America. Most of us drive cars. In American cities, you need these cards for transit, and if you're going to do like the bus or the subway but this one's kind of like we don't need the universal transit card. None of us, we all drive our own cars. It's just the way that America is designed. But you could reach deeper into this thought and say America should have more public transportation, that's a way that our freedom is restrained. Like, if you don't have a car, you're screwed. That's not very free. So you could think of it that way.
In Newcastle or Cardiff, commuters routinely switch between lines with a tap, with no stop to buy tickets. The system reduces confusion and saves time, a noticeable contrast for U.S. visitors. Number 3, pub closing flexible. Many U.S. cities have fixed last call alcohol laws, often at 1 or 2 a.m., and
Sure.
some limit Sunday sales.
Sure.
Britain changed this in 2003, allowing
What?
pubs and bars to apply for late licenses. In Leeds,
What? You guys can even drink longer into the night than us. You know, some of these points are more silly than others. Some of these are very serious. But it's all like very valid examples of how in England you have more freedoms. Even the freedom to drink more.
or Glasgow, nightlife may run until 3 a.m. on weekends. Hours are often set in discussion with local authorities. While
Wow.
country pubs may still close at 11 p.m., there is wide variation. Americans who visit often notice how fluid the rules are and feel the difference. By now, you might be comparing it to your own life. What's the latest time you've left a pub or bar in either country? Number 2, exams taken early. American students take most major exams, like the SAT or AP tests, at the end of high school. British students usually take national exams called GCSEs at 16, which affects choices for advanced courses and careers right away.
GCSE? Am I saying that right? I've never heard of that test. This is something you do in England? It's like a standardized test to help. It's something you use to apply to colleges and universities. We have that in America. It's called the SAT. We do wait till we're graduating high school, till we're about to enter college to take the test. It's very stressful. Taking the test when you're 16, you're not going to be as smart as when you're 18, but at least you know the results of your test earlier. That's nice.
A-levels follow at 18, usually after specializing earlier than Americans do.
A level. Okay, but then there's another test called A levels that also help determine where you can go. Okay. So really this just gives you more information about how you're doing sooner. And having more information quicker is objectively better.
In Bristol or Glasgow, many finish compulsory schooling and start vocational training while Americans are in basic classes. This means British students face career choices earlier, for better or worse.
Oh, you guys can like start specializing and even learning about what you're going to be if you want to start making decisions on your career or your university choices. You just start doing that when you're 16. Okay, that sounds great. That sounds great because a lot of Americans turn 18 and really have never thought much about it and haven't begun the decision making, and it's kind of crazy actually and stressful here. So now I think I understand that better. I like that.
Number 1, public space trust. Many American cities add restrictions to public spaces, such as benches designed to prevent sleeping, rules against feeding wildlife, and park curfews.
That's true. Yeah, that's totally true. I thought that was just normal.
In Great Britain, public parks stay open with minimal restriction. Hyde Park in London or the Meadows in Edinburgh are filled with people reading, eating, and meeting friends from morning to late evening.
Huh. Sounds like in England you just have a higher level of trust in general. From what it sounds like, just trust in society, you could say.
Relax for hours without interruption. It's common to see groups picnicking or individuals sitting alone. It's a small detail, but one worth asking. When was the last time you truly lingered in a park or public place without being hurried along? This highlights a contradiction. Americans talk about personal freedom, yet ordinary life in Great Britain often allows more daily flexibility and trust. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and
This was very thought-provoking because it's true. There's a lot of things that we do here in the United States that we really don't even question or think about. And yet we call ourselves free, the most free country in the world. A lot of Americans say that, but a lot of Americans don't bother to learn about what's happening in other countries, or what your laws are like, or what you do. And it's really eye-opening. And it definitely shows me we're not as free as we thought. And there's actually some things, even in this list, I think we could really do better and learn from. So this was great, actually. This was really thought-provoking. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of these freedoms that you enjoy in England that we don't have here in America. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to the UK and things from the UK I've never seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.